Hey everybody, well this is exciting. This is my first gardening day in my new homestead. Now, I went to the trouble to bring 22 of these plants from the late bloomer garden. Well, I took many more from the late bloomer garden to my apartment complex. I had about 60 plants there. I had to give a lot of them away. But I managed to cram 22 plants into the back seat of my Prius, and there they stayed for the whole trip across the country. Now, because I've had so much else to do and to take care of, plus I had company, plus the holidays, these poor plants are in so need of care. House plants need water, light, and nutrition just like plants outside. They can look great for a while, but all of a sudden they're on a downward spiral. And I'm afraid that's what's happening to mine. So we are going to pot up, nutrify, and water on my first day, and I hope you'll stay with me. Just so cleanup is easier, because with gardening you make such a mess. The minute the dirt falls on the ground, you're either sweeping it up, you're stepping in it, you're tracking mud. And so I brought my big mixing tray from California. We're not going to be doing that much mixing because I'm using a blend Kellogg's family-owned all-natural premium mix for outdoor outdoor containers. Whoops. Well, I'm using it anyway. It has moisture-holding ingredients, and I'm sure it'll be fine for indoors as well. I will use this. I think this is the best I can do right now. And obviously by summer, these will be going outside because it will be hot here. It's just they have to come in the winter. So this is a self-watering container. Let's see where this is made. This is made in the United States. This is a Kefir Lime, by the way. This is a medicinal plant. This tree is featured in the U.S. Botanical Garden in Washington, D.C. as a medicinal plant. The leaves are prized in Thai cooking. You can see the leaves are starting to shrivel. They don't look so good. This is actually one of the limes that rode along in here. Let's see if we can get this root ball out of here. This is a 7-gallon grow bag. I really enjoyed using these, but now the cords are pretty hard to deal with. You see how this poor thing is just, oh, I hate to even try to pull it out, to tell you the truth. You can kind of get an idea. It's totally dry. This is what not to do to your plants. Don't ignore your plants. They need you. Soil in the bottom. Oh, I'm afraid to lift that out. That's poor tree. I feel horrible. I just don't want to cut this pot because it's a good pot. And you can see it's just barely attached to anything. Hang on, baby. I am going to help you as much as I can. It's going to need a lot of soaking. I'm going to use some of the soil it's been traveling with. In fact, I'm going to give it some water right now. This is a mixture that I was using this summer before I left. And you can see I describe all that in my container videos from Rose Alley. This is a slow release. It's got a lot of great stuff in it. I'm trying to not make a mess because I am a very messy gardener, as you will see from my videos. And it would be nice to have some mulch on top, which I don't happen to have at the moment. This pot is significantly smaller than the pot it lived in California, but it's way bigger than what it just came out of. So it's going to be a stepping stone. I'm going to leave about an inch here to pick up some good mulch to put on top. Okay. I decided I'm just going to give it a little bit of magnesium because it's looking a little yellow. And I think the weather's warm enough to handle it. It gets into the 50s and 40s down in California. Okay, number one. This one has some new growth on it, so I thought for sure I killed it. Wow. There's not much attached to these roots. And that's a big part of it right there. Wow, look at that. Renee didn't think it would survive, and it may not. Wow. That breaks my heart a little bit. It's wet. Which is a good thing, I guess. Heavy. This is my Pekin pepper, and I actually did a whole video on rebooting this because Eric and I dug it up out of the ground in Late Bloomer Garden 1.0. It was about 5 times this size. And I cut it all back. The really cool thing about this pepper is you don't have to cut the peppers off. They just slide right off. And these are all ripe. You know, because they start getting a little crinkly. And so I'm going to pull all these off so the energy goes into new leaves. That right there would set your mouth on fire. One of them would. Plants are amazing. They can take so much abuse, but it's almost like an animal. If they sense you love them, they keep going. Now on a hot day you would not want to do this. You would not want to spray your plants in the middle of a hot day because it could burn the leaves. But it's 52 degrees, and if I want these plants to stop dripping before they go back inside, I'm giving them a little bit of sun. In fact, this is the first sun they've had. Oh wow. in 6 weeks. This comfrey plant looks horrible. Obviously it needs water. This is a water lover. So I am trying to decide how best to keep it alive until I can plant it outside this summer. And you see, the roots are still good because you're getting these young shoots here. So it's worth salvaging. I just got to get it out of this pot. It would like to be in a pot twice this big. Okay, this is challenging. I'm trying to peel it down because the root ball is kind of intact and there may be more than one root in here. I don't recall. I gave so many plants away and this is the only one I have. So I just have to save it. Oh, it's hard. Wow. That's never coming out of there. These cloth bags work great outside, but not so great inside. Because water goes out the sides. Oh, it's got big old honking roots. It's not going to be happy in this, I can tell you this right now. But maybe for 2 months. Maybe I can get by for 2 months. It's just the roots I'm worried about, not the plant, because Charles at OAG would probably be saying, okay, don't worry about it. Just throw it in the ground, but no, I don't want to risk it. You don't want to ever be without comfrey. Comfrey's nickname, or it's known as knit bone. So if you have an injury, you make a salve, a poultice, out of knit bone, and it knits your bones. I used it when I had my arm fractured. Now you can see these massive roots, right? Yep. I don't even think this whole thing's going to go in here. Chop some of this off. And it's dry as a bone. Do a little root pruning. Looks a little more promising. This side is pretty flat, so maybe I could get it in. I already put too much of this dirt in here. Oh, I need a bigger pot. Come on. What's a little... Yeah. Okay. That's what we're going to do. And you know what? It has no holes in it, which is good because this thing sucks up water like a mad person. I know what I'll do. I've got a handful of rocks here. That's a handful, all right. Okay, when you live in a rocky place, you find rocks. That should be just great until I can get this planted in the spring. Perfect. Perfect. Whoa, where are you going? Okay, I'm going to give it a shot of nutrient. Oh, good. 3-year warranty. 3 years. Okay, good. Like I say, it doesn't matter because the roots are going to put out more shoots probably soon. So I'm going to take off all these limp. Doesn't look like much right now. this is and will be an indoor plant. This is the Sansevieria, or the mother-in-law tongue. It's one of the best house plants you can have. Takes toxins out of the air. And what I have is this self-watering container. Well, you water it here. I've never used one of these before, but I bought this for this plant, and it is dying to get out of this small pot. And you can see that this has two big plants in it already. This is a separate plant. It's wanting to grow. This is wanting to grow bigger. It's got a lot of little leaves interested in growing. So let's pot it up. You may notice I started out with the plastic pot, and it was really a piece of junk. So since this is a plant I'm going to be living with for a long time indoors, I used one of these new, I have two of these pots that I just bought used from someone else, and it looks 1,000 times better. This is my comfrey, waiting for that to sprout back up, and when it does, it will be going into the garden somewhere. This back here is my cardamom. Cardamom is a jungle plant. It's an understory jungle plant, and it probably will have to live in the house. You can keep it as a house plant or in a greenhouse. And the beautiful thing about the cardamom plant is you can cook with the leaves. And we'll be doing a video on that at some point. But these leaves are very aromatic, and you can cook fish or beef, wrap them around it, and it's beautiful. You have to have a much hotter climate to get it to go to seed. So you have the seed pods, which are the very valuable spice. Cardamom is one of the 3 most pricey spices. I love growing this, and I got this from Sharon's Natural Gardens in Delaware. You can find her on localharvest.org or at sharonsnaturalgardens.com. And she's got a lot of wonderful plants that you might not think of growing, and tinctures and all of that. So I'm going to wrap this up for today, but I've got a lot more to do, and I hope you'll be back. Thanks so much. I'm Kaye Kittrell. I'm a late bloomer, and I'll see you in the next video. Whoops. That won't work. Pricey spices.